Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into this one. All right. Yeah, we've got a new sheriff in town, it appears. And it looks like the NCAA, they're going to try to give up the enforcement part of this, or it's being taken from them, which, given the circumstances, is probably a good thing. And this is a story that came out by Ross Dellinger. Man, this guy's all over everything. It talks about a monumental shift. The power conferences may be taking over the enforcement aspect of NIL and all that kind of stuff. Now, it won't be eligibility and all that, but it will be the NIL and revenue compensation if this occurs. It appears it's going to. It's at a committee of power conferences. They took steps towards the creation of a new entity that will govern the evolving professional aspect of college sports. And they had a 2-day summit and a transition team. And they're building an enforcement arm to police violators of the industry's new salary cap. And it's expected to feature a revenue sharing policy and corresponding penalty structure for violators.
No more doing whatever you want, whenever you want. No more peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
So this will be pretty interesting, a salary cap. Now, realize with this House versus NCAA settlement that's getting ready to happen, probably April 7th is the thinking, there will be a salary cap. Now, I'm not sure how in the world you do that without collective bargaining. Granted, you'll have all these student athletes that have agreed upon it, but not all of them. And then you've got NIL, which is separate. Realize revenue sharing's here, NIL's over here. And they're going to have a committee for that. And the reason this has happened is because the NCAA, they're getting killed in the courts. I mean, they cannot win with this amateurism nonsense that they've been, standing on for years. The Supreme Court and all the federal courts have just kicked their butts all over the place. They haven't won anything. I mean, they're like 0 for 11 or something. And the folks that are making this happen, there's 2 people from each conference right now that have put together a panel to figure out how to work this. And these committee members have been kept secret for months now. And it turns out some of them, Ross Bjork of Ohio State, Clemson, Texas A&M's Trev Alberts, etc. And so if we do get this settlement April 7th, then you'll probably see this transition team form this committee. It's talked about a 3-pronged approach, a cap management system, an NIL clearinghouse, and an investigative and infractions unit. Now, the clearinghouse is a 7-member panel by the what's called Deloitte software company. They maintain the salary cap for the NBA. So they're actually used to doing this kind of thing. So they're not just some entity that came out of nowhere. Now, they're going to have to come up with what somebody's NIL value is. And if they get more than that, I guess they're going to say, hey, this isn't true NIL. Then the enforcement wing comes in and does something about it. That's going to wind up in court for sure. I don't see any way it doesn't.
You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole trial is out of order. They're out of order.
It's almost guaranteed, but they might as well and see if they can get it figured out. What they need to do, and this is going to be incredibly difficult, is to go to the House and the Senate and try to get an antitrust exemption. And that's with this new settlement with revenue sharing, which is what's going to be their selling piece of, hey, we're paying the players, plus they got NIL. We just need you to give us an antitrust exemption. That's going to be unbelievably difficult to get because you're going to have to get the House to pass it, the Senate, and all that. I mean, now you're into politics.
Somebody will listen to me.
It's not going to be easy at all, but at least they're trying. And I think everybody wants a salary cap at this point for the most part. And for the people that don't, you can say, well, yeah, you got the NIL too. So, I mean, it's a decent selling point. It's just without collective bargaining, I don't know how this survives court. Because all it takes is one federal judge to go, nah, I don't allow it. And then you're in trouble again. Here they're talking about the different penalties that they would use to take care of those that don't follow the rules, folks that exceed the new cap or any other rule violation such as tampering, school fines, revenue share pool reductions, and or coach administrator suspensions. They're going to have a head investigator. Surely to gosh, if they do nothing else, at least speed up the time that it takes to investigate this stuff. I mean, look at this Michigan thing. This is considered expedited, what they've done with Michigan on the sign stealing thing.
The sign stealer guy.
And it's still going on and on and on. We're probably 5 months away from finding out what's going to finally happen. And that's been 2 years. And again, that's fast for the NCAA. So hopefully they'll have something can be done in a few months instead of a few years. That would be one significant improvement. It says athletes whose outside NIL deals are found to not be of fair market value will be ruled ineligible if they execute those deals. It's a court-overseen arbitration system that serves as an appeals process for athletes who believe the NIL deals were unfairly struck down in the event they are struck down by that panel. Again, if somebody struck down my NIL deal, I'd be suing the crap out of them.
So now, I guess, it's on.
It's like, oh, I can't have my millions of dollars? No way. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how this plays out. But anyway, they're trying. They really are. They're in an impossible situation. They really just very difficult without antitrust exemption and without collective bargaining. I don't see how this is going to work, but I do understand they're trying. And maybe this would work for some period of time. We'll see. I hate to be so negative about it because there's a lot of effort going into this and something needs to be done so you don't have this, well, it's the wild, wild west. And that's, people are getting tired of that. And I hear it in the comments all the time. And it's what it's doing, it's hurting college sports because there's a lot of people that are going to start checking out on this thing. And I'm seeing it a lot from you folks that you're getting tired of it. And that's not healthy for college sports. It's not. There needs to be some sort of parity and fairness set up so the super rich billionaire can't come in and just buy national titles. And later in this article, it talks about how a lot of people believe that federal legislation is necessary, et cetera, just like we talked about. So while there's a lot of positive things in here and it would sort of give us some structure and allow us some expedited penalty processes, I guess you'd call it, I see a lot of positives in it, but I just don't know that it will pass a smell test as far as being legal. But we'll find out April 7th. But it is super interesting that they're setting this up and they're trying to take the enforcement mechanism from the NCAA and put it into the power conferences, which would expedite it because the NCAA, they're a bureaucracy and they move at a snail's pace. And that's the way they like it. They've been doing it that way for decades. So moving it into the conferences where you've got some people that will, take the bull by the horn, so to speak.
Don't mess with the bull, young man. You'll get the horns.
Might speed this thing up. We'll see. The next couple of years, as I've told you, is going to be very tricky, and it's going to be an extremely fluid situation. Some people would call it a cluster F. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, boom, boom. Hit that little button right there. It will not cost you a dime, and it'll help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. And they use the algorithm to figure you out. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
Ooh, I love to dance a little sidestep. Now they see me, now they don't. I've come and gone.